Did you know that vitamin D is essential for good gut health? Look, we've always known that vitamin D is important for bone health, for your immune system, controlling inflammation, for reducing your risk of autoimmune diseases, reducing your risk of cancer because it helps with normal cell division. But recent research has shown that vitamin D is very imperative for good gut health. Now, most specifically for gut health, we know there's studies showing that vitamin D, when your levels are low, is more associated with having problems with inflammatory bowel disease, diverticulitis, colon cancer, and liver disease. So if you have a history of these conditions, or if there's a family history, even more so, you want to check your vitamin D levels and make sure they're at good ranges using blood tests. Now, how does vitamin D help gut health? Well, researchers have found that vitamin D actually greatly influences your microbiome. So the levels of the microbes in your gut, which are bacteria, viruses, fungi, they need to be in the right balance. They need to have the right species in there. And vitamin D greatly influences the balance of the community of the microbes in your gut. Number two, vitamin D plays an important role in your gut barrier health. In other words, the lining of your small intestine, where leaky gut can occur if the lining is not healthy, vitamin D plays a role in that repairing process that should be occurring in your gut lining. And so many people have leaky gut where you're having malabsorption, you're absorbing molecules larger than you should be, and then you have what's called translocation, where these bacterial byproducts get into the bloodstream, get to different parts of the body, creating an inflammatory response, which is not good. And as I mentioned before, vitamin D plays a role in cell proliferation. And so that is important in terms of colon cancer risk. When you have undivided cells or out of control cell division in the colon, that is in part can be due to low vitamin D levels. So we need adequate vitamin D for colon cancer prevention. I also mentioned that vitamin D helps to reduce inflammation. It does that in part by influencing how your genes are functioning, how your genes are being regulated. It also plays a role in cell signaling, which helps with the communication between the cells, including the digestive cells, and keeping inflammation under control at the right cell signaling. So we know, look, a lot of the American population either has low levels of vitamin D or has deficient levels of vitamin D. I'm always surprised here in the San Diego area how many people on blood tests show that they have low or deficient levels of vitamin D. And there can be different reasons for that. It can be because of genetic reasons. It can be because people use a lot of sunscreen and hats and covering their skin up. It could be also because they have gut problems. They have malabsorption problems you get like with irritable bowel syndrome or inflammatory bowel disease. So there's a variety of reasons why people are deficient in vitamin D. But again, so important because it's so commonly deficient that you get your levels tested. And again, if you have gut health, make sure that you're testing your vitamin D levels and getting your levels to about mid-range on a blood test to help with gut health. We'll have many videos on digestive conditions, gut health, leaky gut on this channel, so feel free to check those out.